Okay, here is BKKT Bakkt holdings. This finishes at $14.68 today. That is down 14.35%. Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. So here is LCID Lucid Group. This finishes at $36.52 today. That is down 18.34%. So Lucid was a really hot stock a couple weeks ago. Ran all the way up to 58 and has since faded away. I haven't heard too much about this stock lately, but today this was trending top 10 on StockTwits. Nasty day. So let's talk about it. And there was a reason why this stock went down so much today, aside from general market selling off. We did have some news. So let's check it out. So the news is that Lucid is doing an offering. It's going to be a $1.75 billion offering in convertible senior notes, which are bonds that you can then convert into stock later in the future. And it says the company expects to grant initial purchasers an option to purchase an additional $262.5 million of the notes. And this is to private placement. So yeah, anytime an offering is done, that's bearish news because it dilutes the stock. So it was selling off in the aftermarket and continues to sell off today, down 18.34%. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So this looks like a possible cup and handle. Top of the cup being 58 and the bottom being, we'll call it 15. That would be a bearish indicator because that means this cup completed, topped out, and is now pulling back to complete the handle. So just some quick math. This stock should pull back to around 35, 36-ish to complete the handle because that is about halfway between 58 and 15. And right now it's at 36.5, so it's around that price already. So this might start to bottom out pretty soon, hopefully. So right now this is sitting on the support of 36.50, which it finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 38.30, 39.95, 41.30, 42.65, 43.70, 44.90, 45.95, 47.90, 49.20, 50.50, 51.75, 52.80, 54.75, 56.25, 58.05, 60.20, 62.15, and then the high of 64.85. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 34.80, 32.55, 31.45, 30.45, 28.75, 27.50, 26.80, 25.30, 24.25, 22.45, 21.40, 22.30, 19.10, 18.35, 17.15, and then 16.10. And there is support below 16.10, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 36.52, the channels to the upside and the downside are decently sized, so expect a good amount of price action either way this goes. The RSI is currently at 39, so that's a bit below average. And this did 120 million in volume today. Significant volume, so this sell-off today was confirmed by the volume. So it's a bit difficult to tell where this is going to go in the short term. Long term, this is definitely a good stock. It'll definitely go back up, but we're getting some... But in the short term, this does look slightly bullish. Like I said earlier, it appears like the handle is going to bottom out pretty soon here. It appears like 35 is some pretty strong support. 32.50 is also some very strong support. So personally, I don't really think it's going to go lower than 32.50. And we are getting a slightly bullish indicator in the RSI here. And of course, the social media sentiment. The apes really, really love this stock. Really no bearish indicators and no neutral indicators here. Very soon, this should start to bottom out and consolidate for a little bit, and then eventually it should break out again, because that's what happens in a cup and handle. Handle forms, consolidation, and then break out again. So this may still have more downside potential, but it really shouldn't go down too much more, and eventually it should break out. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, I think this current price of $36.50 is a pretty good entry. You may be able to get a lower one. Maybe this will come back down to 35 or 32.50. But you really can't go too wrong here at 36.50. May already be the bottom. So I would support going long here at 36.50. And if this pulls back, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. And again, if you're in this for the long term, this definitely will go up. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that, and I would not recommend that. It's already pulled back a lot from the high of 58, and like I said, really shouldn't pull back too much more. Personally, I think 32.50 at the most. So maybe you can get 10% to the downside here, but honestly, it's really not worth it in my opinion, because this is a low-key meme stock. Apes love it. Institutions are starting to get in here as well. Going short here would be a high-risk, low-reward play, I would say. Just too risky for my liking, and not enough tendies to justify the risk. So I don't think it's a great idea. I don't recommend going short here. Doesn't make too much sense. So sorry to everyone who lost money in the stock today, but this could be a good buying opportunity coming up. Not financial advice. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is LCID Lucid Group. So here is GME Gamestop. This finishes at $155.76 today. That is down 10.3%. So we haven't talked about GME in a while here. This was the original meme stock, and for some reason, people don't really care about GME anymore. It's all about AMC nowadays. Aside from the general market sell-off, there was a reason as to why this sold off so much today. We had earnings yesterday and some downgrades. So let's check it out. EPS was negative $1.39 per share. That's a lot more down from 29 cents per share from last year. So they're losing a lot of money here. And the revenue was 1.3 billion, which beat the estimate of 1.19 billion. So it looks like the revenue was good, but the EPS was really bad. And overall, the market, especially the institutions, did not like this. So as a result, Wedbush downgrades to $45 and Jefferies downgrades to $180. So big difference in opinion there. Wedbush, one hedge fund thinks it's worth $45, which is way lower than the current price, about 65% lower than its current price. And Jefferies thinks it's worth $180, which is above the current price. Really, the price targets for this stock are all over the place. No one really knows the true value of the stock here. So yeah, bad earnings. Institutions didn't like it. They're selling off. It appears like some apes are selling off as well. Down 10.3% today. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So we did have a double top, it looks like, and that was a bearish indicator, and it is selling off from the double top here. This is consolidating. You see I drew here a symmetrical triangle all the way back from when this originally squeezed in January. It appears like right now this is consolidating between 240 and 145. And that is a bullish indicator. So it looks like it still has a ways more to go for consolidation. But if this symmetrical triangle does hold, this should break out eventually. But I do expect this to consolidate for maybe a couple more months here. So diamond hands, right guys?
With diamond hands, they knew they'd profit if they could only hold.
So right now this is trading between the sideways channel, the rectangle of 158 and 151. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 158, 166, 176, 184, 198, 208, 221, 230, 241, 249, 262, 281, 296, 325, 347, 382, and then the high of 483. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 151, 135, 120, 112, 98, 91, 75, and then 63. And there is support below 63, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 156, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty decently sized, so expect a good amount of price action, either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 249 to the upside, the channel starts to open up and get pretty wide, so expect a significant increase in price action if/when this breaks 249. RSI is currently at 34, so not quite oversold and undervalued, but quickly approaching that, so this could be a good buying opportunity. And this did 5 million in volume today, which is below the average of 13 million. Pretty odd. So this sell-off today was not confirmed by the volume. So the chart does appear to be pretty bullish. Again, we have the symmetrical triangle. This is consolidating right now, and pretty low RSI. So those are bullish indicators. We do have Jefferies, who thinks it's worth 180, so that's a good sign. Hedge fund thinks it's worth 180. Really no bearish indicators. I think this only went down because of disappointing earnings. But let's be honest, the stock really doesn't trade according to fundamentals. Yeah, maybe this stock has a little bit more room to run to the downside, but overall, this does look pretty bullish in the short and long term. So right now, this is holding at the support of 151. It looks like it retested that a couple of times, couldn't really break it. And then there's very strong support at 135 and 120. I really don't think this is going to go below 120. It's going to take some massive selling pressure to break these next supports here. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, I do think 156 is a pretty good entry. You might be able to get a slightly better entry, but really can't go wrong here at 156. Right? As a wise man once said, buy the effing dip. So I would support going long at 156. And if it pulls back, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. Again, really shouldn't go lower than 120. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that, and I would not recommend that. Not too much downside potential. It's already sold off a lot from 250. And like I said, really shouldn't go lower than 120. So I think at most you can get 20% to the downside here. And I really don't think the risk is worth the reward. This is the original meme stock. Apes still love it. You'd be exposing yourself to a lot of risk to make some decent tennies here. Really not worth it. So yeah, I don't think it's too smart. I would not do that, and I would not recommend that. So sorry to everyone who lost money in the stock today, but looks like a great buying opportunity. Not financial advice. And good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is GME Gamestop. Okay, here is BKKT Bakkt Holdings. This finishes at $14.68 today. That is down 14.35%. So this is a low-key meme stock. We briefly talked about this one back in October when this was squeezing. Haven't heard much about it since then, but today this was trending top 10 on StockTwits, so we'll talk about it. So there wasn't any news to justify this price action today. It appears like this sold off because crypto had a pretty bad day, and in general, the stock market had a pretty bad day. So double whammy. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So we do have a gap up at 1020, so that is a bearish indicator. That is telling us the stock may come back down to 1020 to fill that gap. This also looks like a possible bear flag. Here's the flag pole, and it looks like the flag is developing. So we don't have confirmation yet, but it does look like a possible bear flag. So that is a bearish indicator. This also could be a possible cup and handle. Looks like the top of the cup could be 39.70, 42.65, or the high of 50.80. And it looks like the bottom of the cup would be 11.70. So that would be a bullish indicator that is telling us the stock may run back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. So right now this is trading between the sideways channel, the rectangle of 1520 and 1445. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 1520, 1595, 1720, 1845, 1975, 21, 2250, 2375, 2565, 2630, 2860, 3085, 32, 3335, 3465, 3620, 3760, 3970, 4265, and then the high of 5080. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 1445, 1340, 1265, 1170, and then 1065. And there is support below 1065, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 1468, the channels to the upside and the downside are decently sized. So expect a good amount of price action either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 1595 to the upside, the channels start to open up. So expect a significant increase in price action if/when this breaks 1595. RSI is currently at 44. So a little bit below average there. And this did 10 million in volume today. Significant volume. So this sell-off today was confirmed by the volume. So this is a little bit difficult to tell where this is going to go in the short term. But we are getting more bearish indicators than bullish indicators. Again, we have the gap up at 1020. Possible bear flag. And this kind of looks like a dead cat bounce as well. So that's another bearish indicator there. Only bullish indicator is the possible cup and handle. It does look like 1170 is some very strong support. But yeah, more bearish indicators than bullish indicators. So personally, I do think it's going to keep running to the downside here. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, I don't like this entry of 1470. I think you should be able to get a much better price. I would say set your buy orders to 1020 because that is where the gap fills. And I think 1020 would be an excellent entry. And if it never comes back down to 1020, then that's all right. You can just let it go. There are other opportunities out there in the market. You don't have to go for this one. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that, and I would not recommend that. It does appear to be a pretty decent play. If this does pull back down to 1020, that'd be over a 30% downside. So a good amount of downside potential, decent amount of tendies to be made. But I think that's too risky, because if this is in fact a cup and handle, this could start mooning, especially because the channels open up and get wide. Like I said before, price action is going to increase pretty quickly. So I just don't think the risk is worth the reward here going short, although it could pay off pretty big. So going short here would be somewhat of a gamble. So I personally wouldn't do it, but if you guys want to gamble, then I could support going short here. Just understand there is pretty good amount of risk, so please do that at your own risk. So sorry to everyone who lost money in the stock today. Could be a good buying opportunity coming up here, not financial advice. And good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is BKKT Bakkt Holdings. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know, diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.